Oh! Oh, hello! Hello there, dear. I was hoping you'd come over to this table during lunch, if I'm being honest. I don't know why, but you look like the kind of person who needs a nice sugar cookie on this day. Just a nice little sugar cookie, made of all the usual sugar cookie things, like milk and sugar and eggs and flour, and of course, the love that glues it all together. No other ingredient than that. You have nothing to worry about. There's absolutely nothing in this cookie that wouldn't be in just about anybody else's batch. Nothing weird or gross or just plain odd to be found here. Just your mom and pop's classic sugar cookie recipe. Absolutely nothing to write home about in regards to it, but still just as sweet as you'd expect it to be. After all, anything else like, say, meat, well, that would ruin the flavor, wouldn't it? I mean, blood already has such a strong irony taste that you could almost say that it overloads basically all other senses. If there was blood in the cookies, that would completely consume any and all aspects of sweetness that you could find, and that would be pretty silly, right? A sugar cookie that isn't sweet? That would be like a lemon that wasn't sour, or a chip that wasn't crunchy. And that would be pretty odd. Right? Good thing there isn't anything like this in this batch of cookies, or else they would be ruined. Here, take a bite. It's really, really good. Not a lick of blood or flesh or meat to be found within it, because that would be completely contradictory to my goal of making sugar cookies. And even then, why would I put that kind of thing in a cookie regardless? Even if it wasn't just about the flavor or the texture, what would be the point of putting human blood or flesh or meat into a pastry anyhow? Why would I do that? Why would I be specifically so fixated on eating flesh? Especially seeing you eat human flesh. I mean, that's a lot of careful planning and a lot of added labor for the sake of what could otherwise be considered a random encounter. Right? I mean, why would I do something like that? It's ridiculous. Completely and utterly ridiculous. So, you have no reason to worry. Who said anything about human flesh? What makes you say that would be human flesh in that completely hypothetical situation? That's so weird. Why would you say that? I'd never put human flesh into my pastries. That would be just weird. I mean, where would I even find human flesh? I mean, sure, people die every day. If I really applied myself, it probably wouldn't even be that hard to find. And yeah, maybe if I really needed to, I could always use my own blood to fulfill the rampant desires if I really, really, really wanted to. But I just don't know why I would. I mean, it's not like human flesh even has that strong of a taste. Adding it would only serve me in the cheap thrills department of seeing people, even some complete and total strangers, eating human flesh without knowing. And honestly, why would I want to do something like that? I mean, what kind of enjoyment could be really found in watching people eat food without knowing what it really is? At that point, that's just a prank. Don't you think? Of course, pranks are pretty funny. Not that this is a prank, of course, because if this prank is to go how I've been suggesting it would, what with the human flesh and what could otherwise be a simple pastry, then the scenario I've outlined you otherwise has the possibility to become very illegal very, very quickly. Although, technically speaking, cannibalism is not a crime. Yeah, didn't you know? Cannibalism isn't technically a crime. Manslaughter, assault, and battery, and defilement of corpses are actions that are considered crimes within a legal sense of the word. I suppose there are people who just assume that the acts are just so distasteful that most would refrain from it out of an intrinsic disgust that one could find deep, deep within their bones. Interesting, right? Of course, I don't see how cannibalism is really relevant to this discussion at all. After all, I'm just trying to give you a sugar cookie, and we've gone so far out of the way to establish that there's no reason that these cookies would have any sort of human flesh, even beyond moral standards that can often be flexible across the great plains of this world. The practicality of it would be that these cookies wouldn't taste the way that they were supposed to if mixed with human flesh. Ergo, they are not, because sugar cookies that don't taste sweet do not taste good. I'm sure you can consider that in simple terms. And frankly, your assumption that I would ever consider using human flesh in my fine little confections is honestly so hurtful and damaging. I'm trying to do you a favor. I'm trying to be nice to you. And what do I get for it? What do I get for my time slaving over a hot stove all day? Judgment. Judgments that aren't even true, as I would stake my honor as a baker on whether or not I could get such diametrically opposite flavor possibilities to blend together in a harmony unforeseen within the human experience. I mean, can you imagine meats and pastries together? Madness! Even the idea of them touching is enough to give me hives. It's why it's forbidden within the art of baking. Those chefs have already sealed their damnation enough with the invention of the burger. But a meat pie is cataclysmic in my eyes. It's why I would never use even a single drop of blood in my personal sugar cookie recipe, handed down from my mom and pops themselves. So come on. You can trust me. Try it. I've stated my conditions, my practicalities. I'm even willing to stake my honor on it. Not just as a person, but as a baker. On this sugar cookie not having a single drop of blood, human or otherwise, hiding underneath a delicate layer of sugar crystals. Now, will you try it? I said you seem like the kind of person who need a sugar cookie on a day like today, and I don't know how to say this politely, but I really do mean that. So, come on. Want a bite? Your loss.